guys, welcome back. We are going to be doing our red cards today. As always, Yanks is on the call with us. So we are going to go over each one 1 to 5. If you guys are seeing this on YouTube, everything before red, the Wooburg, and the introduction to Forgotten Realms is already up on YouTube, and the rest will be up tomorrow or the next day. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's go ahead and get it started. We have Armory Veteran. This is a 2-mana 2/2, and if it is equipped, it has Menace, which is a nice little bonus, especially because the equipments we've seen leading up to this in white and black have actually been much better quality than we've seen in previous sets, right? Like the equipments are actually not awful.
Yeah, I mean, this is our first red card, so it's tough to say already, but my guess is red-white is looking to be your aggressive equipment deck. We've seen, Boros have that type of theme in previous sets before. I think Dominaria it had that theme, so I'm guessing that's what we're going to be seeing here from the red-white aggressive decks.
Yeah, but there's also black, like the Death Touch, right? The Death Touch equipment that was not rare. Yep. So that this gives it Menace and Death Touch, which is pretty powerful. And then like all of the aggressive tokens and spiders that we saw in black could be very good with this kind of thing as well. 2/5?
Yeah. I agree. I like that.
All right, Barbarian class, guys. 1 red mana. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that much plus 1, ignore the lowest roll. So it basically gives you 1 free roll to try to hit that better crit or higher side, which is fine, but it's not a static ability which guarantees you value on its own. God damn it, I'm still doing it. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So yeah, it's not giving you value on its own like some of the other ones. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. And then also at level 3, which is not a high mana cost, so this whole Barbarian class card is pretty cheap to complete at level 3, and all of your creatures have haste. So this is probably one of the more low impact cards overall than some of the other class cards, but it's still fine. Every set or every one of the abilities is okay.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can, because everything's so cheap on this card, you can use the ability to level up or to cast it in the first place, in addition to doing something else on your turn. It's not going to eat your whole turn.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of the other level ups were like much more. Like 4 and 5 or whatever. Yeah,
like even in an aggressive deck, you can find 6 mana over X number of turns.
Agreed.
And creatures you control have haste is an ability that is always more impactful to me than it sounds.
Agreed. I don't like that the first level, like I said, requires some interaction. It's not super exciting if you only have a few, which most decks will only have a few die rolling ability cards. So, And then the second ability is the same thing. That kind of turns me off. So I'm far more likely to run this if I have dice cards, but not if I don't.
Yeah, red has a decent amount of dice rolling. I think red-blue seems to be kind of the dice rolling pair.
Okay.
Now, granted, that deck isn't always the most aggressive, so the second ability isn't always that great. But it does seem like, just scanning through red, there's a decent amount of red die rolling cards.
Okay, I still don't like the card all that much. I'm thinking a 2.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's playable, but.
All right,
not super impactful.
Let you take this one.
Battlecry Goblin. It's a 2-mana 2/2 goblin. You can pay 1 in red to give all your goblins +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. And then its second ability, Pack Tactics. Whenever Battlecry Goblin attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking.
So the second thing is kind of minor, but not nothing. I like that it pumps everything, including itself. I also like that you can pump it as many times as you want.
Yeah, you can use the ability to get yourself to that 6 total power before attacking, and then you can use it again afterwards, and that second goblin will get the +1/+0 as well, or an additional goblin.
And even if you don't, you could still have, it's for 4 mana, it's like a trumpet blast effect for your goblins. So if you have enough goblin synergy, like, that seems great.
Yeah, obviously it's not a tap ability, so you can give itself haste the turn it comes out.
Definitely.
And get in right away, which is nice.
So this looks like it's the equivalent to like that zombie skeleton lord for red, I assume.
Yeah, I think you're right. A little narrower, but it's cheaper, so you expect that.
Much narrower. So the average deck without a ton of goblins, this isn't going to be super great. It's good in all decks because you don't have to have like the goblins. The power 6 or greater doesn't need to be goblins, so I think it's fine at any point. But it's definitely has a narrow range where it's actually very, very good. So I'm going to give it like a 3.
Yeah, that's right where I would have it.
Speed Boots, 1 mana, +1/+0 and haste. We see that all the time. I'm only running this if I have like payoffs for being equipped.
Yeah, agreed. It's pretty low impact. Very low impact, in fact. But, if you're maybe red-green and you give some pretty big things haste, there's some potential there, but there's a lot of options for equipment in this set.
All right, chat. I need a punishment if I don't spin the wheel. If I don't move the card, I need a punishment. We need a counter or something. So each time I don't move the card, I get kicked in the shins. At this point, it has to be a severe punishment because I just can't learn. I swear I've never had this problem in other set reviews. Okay, so this is a 1, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it has some upside if we have stuff that wants it.
Yeah, in the average deck, it's a 1.
Okay, moving on. Blazing Dwarf, 2 mana for a 1/3, which is fine stats. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Blazing Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. I actually like this card. It's nice against aggressive decks. It's a 2-drop that fills your curve and gives you a little bit of reach in, one of the die roll colors. So if you have any recurring die rolls that, like cards that can roll dice per turn or per trigger, not just like a one-time spell, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, this ability always underwhelms to me. We saw it last set in one of the lore hold cards that pinged every time something left the graveyard, and it never really seemed to do anything.
I definitely killed some people with that card. Now, what I will say about that card, I was going to actually make the same comparison. You're not playing that card because you're like, oh, I'm gonna play bad exile spells to trigger this guy. It's like, hey, he's a moderately sized body in a spot I need filled, and then this is a fringe benefit. So if I have good 2-drops, I'm happy to not run this, but also on the same hand, like, he's fine to fill, and then he does have some bonus.
Yeah, it is definitely a fine filler card, but nothing more than that to me.
Agreed. I think it's like a 2.
Yep.
All right. Burning Hands deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent is green, it deals 6 damage instead, which is actually kind of cool because, green is typically where you need more damage. Like 2 is great against most blue things, but you need 6 for green, so that's a nice pair up.
Yeah, I think this card is fantastic. 2 mana, deal 2 to target creature or planeswalker would be a bad removal spell at instant speed, but we would play it.
Agreed.
And, just on its own with no upside, and that your biggest problem in red for removal is dealing with big green things. Well, here you go.
Yeah, it does mitigate the negative side of your burn when you have a lot of 3 or 4 damage even when you go up against a green deck. Oftentimes that's just not enough and you end up 2-for-1ing yourself too often. This does just kind of stop that.
Yeah. This card is great. I mean, I'm playing this against anything. It's not even something I'd take out if I'm not playing against green because it's still going to kill plenty of things.
Agreed. What are we thinking score rise? It doesn't quite seem like premium unless it's against green, so I'm thinking 3-5.
Yeah, I agree. It's not at that premium level because against 60% of the decks, it's not going to kill anything big.
I don't want to get kicked in the shins. Chaos Channeler, guys. It's a 4 mana 4/3. There's a whole cycle of these we've seen. When it attacks, roll a d20. So this is one of those situations where you get to roll multiple times. Exile top card of your library. You may play that card. Exile the top two cards. You may play them this turn. That's quite a big bonus later in the game. And exile the top 3 cards of your library. Okay, well the crit is like maybe not quite as relevant because you can't play them, but also, you know, you get rid of the lands too, so you guarantee that you get something. But I like all of them.
Yeah, card's very good. It's play, not cast, so you can play lands you exile off the top of your deck, which is always important on these red spells to check how that, if it says that or not.
Definitely.
Especially that makes the second, that 10 to 19 ability much better, because you hit that land and a spell and you can play both of them.
Definitely. Now the 3 toughness means it's not getting in super easily unless it has some help. But if you have, you know, red removal to clear the way, unblockable, whatever the case may be, then you get a little bit of a bonus. It is card advantage, even if it trades and then you just play whatever it makes, or, you know, gets you off the top, then you're looking pretty good. So I'm happy to trade this as well.
These are the cards that make combat tricks so good too, because they're forced to block even if it looks like you're telegraphing a combat trick.
Yeah, because otherwise you just get more value in the second. Like, eventually they have to do it. Might as well do it now. I agree. What do you think in score-wise?
I think this card's a 3/5. I really like this card.
Okay. I mean, I kind of liked the one in the last set more, the 3/4. It felt like it was going to get in a lot easier. There's a lot of 3/2s in the set. I still think it's very good, and I think 3/5 is probably pretty good, but I'm on that fence between 3 and 3/5. All right. Critical hit, guys. 2 mana, instant speed. Target creature gains double strike till end of turn. When you roll a natural 20, return this from your graveyard to your hand, which is kind of nice. Don't plan on it, but there's tons of time, like what, Teamer's Rage, where you play a similar spell where something just gets double strike and you're happy about it. So it's not going to happen a ton, but I like that. I like that they're adding some variants, but not so much so where it feels game breaking. Like a lot of the variants is like draw 2 or scry 1, draw 2. So it's like not pass fail, but a bonus, which is nice.
Yeah, I know that I'm sure it's just a D&D thing. I don't understand why they did this whole natural 20 thing in there.
So a natural, so there is a difference between rolling a 20 and a natural 20 in D&D. So if you roll a 20, they might still have a higher like armor defense or armor class or whatever, but a natural 20 automatically goes through that, kind of.
Yeah, like I said, I figured I'm sure there was some D&D thing about it, but that doesn't seem possible in this game.
So the idea of like a natural 20 in D&D is like, let's say their armor is so high, no matter how hard you hit them, you can't get through the armor. But on a natural 20, you hit them, they fall backwards, hit their head on a rock, and bleed out. So it's like the perfect storm of everything happening in your favor, kind of.
Yeah. But anyway, that's not really relevant. But
it's fun.
Yeah, card's fine.
Fine, cuttable, probably a 2. Not making the cut in a lot of decks, but I mean, if you're light on playables or if you have like some big pumps, some evasive creatures, sure. Double striker, well, that already has double strike. Why would I say that? Trample? Trample, that's what I'm thinking. That'll work. We'll go with trample. All right. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Delina Wild Mage, 3 and a red for a 3/2 Elf Shaman, legendary creature. Whenever it attacks, choose target creature you control, and then roll a d20. If you roll a 1 to a 14, so different than what we've seen, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary and it has exile this creature and end of combat. If it's 15 to 20, you get to do the exact same thing, and then you get to roll again.
Okay, that's kind of neat. So it can just go off.
Yeah, 70% of the time, you're getting a copy that exiles the end of the combat. The other 30%, you're getting it, and then you get to do it again. Yeah.
Interesting.
Seems good. It does require this to attack to do it, so there's a good chance this will die, because it's a 3/2.
Not if you have double strike.
Yes, that's it. This is another one of those cards that make combat tricks good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think this card is great. I'm pretty happy to run it. I mean, it's probably not winning the game in most situations because, like you said, they deal with it after the first time. So it can't, like, really snowball into, like, a huge win. They probably just eat it. They take an extra 4 or something to the face and then go on with their day. But, I mean, it is great value for the mana. I'm pretty happy. What are you thinking score-wise?
I'm very happy with this card. I think it's like a 3/5.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have it at.
This is also the best card we've seen for the roll an extra die cards. Because you roll the second time, you get, or whenever you get to roll an extra die, that could happen 3 or 4 times on this, just from one.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I thought you were thinking that when you get to roll an extra dice, you get the extra copy, but you're saying that you have a higher chance of getting 15. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you get to roll an extra die on the next one as well.
Yeah, the ones that have like 1 to 9 and verse 10 to 19 or whatever, the difference between those two are pretty minor, so that way the text on that card is like a scry, maybe a treasure token, whereas this is like much more possibly lethal. So if you're rolling an extra dice twice, you get a 15 or higher 2 or 3 times, you could just kill them. So yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I like it at a 3/5. Okay, so did I go one too far here?
Nope, you're good. This is the next one. This is one of the ones that wasn't on the site.
That makes sense.
So, Dragon's Fire, 1 in a red for an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you can reveal a dragon from your hand or choose a dragon you control. Dragon's Fire deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you revealed a dragon card or chose a dragon as you cast the spell, Dragon's Fire deals damage equal to the power of that card or creature instead. So 2 mana, on its base, it's 2 mana, deal 3.
Okay.
Which is, fine. It's very good. We'll play that all the time. And if you have a dragon in play or reveal one, it can deal equal to whatever the power of that card is instead.
Which is probably 4 or 5.
Yeah,
is what most of our dragons have been. So that's fine. Yeah, and it's instant speed. We're playing this all the time. This just seems premium to me.
Yeah, this is just a 4.
Yeah. It doesn't get us a sorcery like the last spell's 3 damage, but it's also instant, so it doesn't get us a learn. I don't know what I just said.
Yeah, I mean, there's always some sort of bonus on these cards nowadays when they don't go face.
Yeah. All right, we have a dueling equipment that has flash for 1 mana. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Instant speed, which is nice, and +2/+0. Equip 4 though. So the first one's free, which takes the edge off of it a bit. But it is a lot, and it doesn't give it like first strike or anything. So this is actually probably one of the worst ones we've seen, I think.
Yeah, this is the exact counterpart to the white shield that had flash and +0/+2.
That's true. Yeah, definitely.
Although that one had equip 3. But yeah, this is, again, you treat this more as a combat trick than an equipment. But not a particularly good one because you're probably not going to win the combat with it. You
you're
might
trading
trade
up.
Yeah.
But then you're also losing your creature. And then you lose your creature and have to re-equip for 4, which is just awful. So at that point, I don't know.
Again, if you've got enough things to care about equipment, you might run this, but I'm looking for other options.
Yeah, there has to be creatures that get some other benefit. I agree with that. All right, guys, I haven't missed it in like 4. Okay. Earth Cult Elemental, 6 mana, 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, roll a dice. Each player sacrifices a permanent. Wow. 1 through 9. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent. Definitely better. That's kind of pass-fail. Each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. It says permanent, so at 6 mana, it's like just a land, right? It just burns a land.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing that you said. This is the first one of these we've seen that's kind of pass-fail.
And it's a 6 mana, 6/6 where most either you both lose a land or they lose a land, which is minimal upside. So, This feels like a 2.
Yeah, it's playable, but not exciting. I guess if you can find a way to ramp this out, um, you can stunt their growth even just by making them sacrifice a land. But
That's true. Yeah. They might need that land. You never know. All right. Faradays Fireball. 5 mana. Deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Roll a dice. Deals 2 damage to each player, or 10 through 20. Deals 2 damage to each opponent. Okay, well, so this is 5 damage to a creature, 2 damage to each of us for 5, with some upside of just 2 damage to you.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm mostly just treating this as 5 damage, 5 mana, deal 5, but it's an interesting card because there are going to be some scenarios late in the game where you can't play it, or you're risky. It's risky to play it.
There's also some points in the game where it might just kill them.
Yeah. I think this is fine, but not quite premium removal.
Yeah. Is it 3 or 3/5?
I think it's 3/5 because it's instant speed.
Instant speed is really big. It's double red, but like we saw that with the last set, with Pigment Storm, and I was fine with it. You're more likely to deal damage to them. I mean, only by 5%, but I mean, hey, I take what I can get. So I like the spell well enough. I agree with the 3/5. Flying 3/1 for 3, good stats. It can't block, that's fine. When it dies, exile it. If you do exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards.
Uh-oh. Your shins are hurting.
Ah! No! No! Okay, chat, I actually kind of love you for the kick. Oh, it was only one of you. Okay, I love you. Counting. That was perfect. Ow. Fuck. Watch those shins. God damn it. Oh god, love you, chat. Exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may cast one of those spells. What am I missing?
So it exiles itself too. So you can play it or the top card of your library.
Okay, the way it was worded, it didn't sound like it as well. So
yeah, it's awkwardly worded.
Sleepy time. I'm not as think as you sleep I am.
Yeah, I mean, and they even know it's awkwardly worded because of the way they had to put the reminder text in there.
That's true. I didn't read the reminder text. I thought it was flavor text and ignored it.
Yeah. This is an interesting card. I think this is an interesting design. I'm not sure how good it is.
I mean, a 3 mana 3/1 flyer is fine. That replaces itself. I'm happy. I'm in.
Yeah, it's certainly fine, and especially with all the equipment and stuff in this set.
I think it's 4.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I think this is a 4.
All right. Next, Goblin Warrior, 1/1 for 1. Whenever with haste, and whenever it becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to target blocking creature. So X1s can't block it without dying. And X2s is a trade up. It's a goblin, so our Goblin Lord does some work. But even then, very aggressive decks will want this, other decks won't.
Yeah, that basically sums it up. Playable. Red's going to be aggressive. You're going to probably have some equipment, so this will be a little better than it would be in some other colors, but yeah, just fine.
All right, 2?
Yep.
I was on the fence between like a 1/5 and a 2, but honestly, the format seems slow enough to where like an aggressive, like the one of aggressive deck like this might just actually kind of be a hit.
Yeah, and this card is really nice with the Death Touch equipment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. All right. I did it. 2 mana for another equipment. Equip creature gets +1/+0 and trample. Equip 2. It's not the worst. When it enters the battlefield, roll a dice, create a 1/1 or create a 1/1 then attach Morningstar to it. Whatever. Moderately low impact for an artifact card, but I mean, it also comes into play with a body, which is really important. I think that's actually kind of a huge game changer, especially if the rest of your deck synergizes well with artifact equipments. It's going to punish you a lot less for having more of them, which your deck wants, but then you run that fine line of like having too many when you draw, drawing too many and not enough creatures. So this kind of like mitigates that a little bit, and I do like that.
Yeah, it's exactly what I would have said. The fact that it comes with a creature is a big deal for an equipment, especially in a set where there's a lot of equipment running around.
I do want to point out that 2 sets ago you were not on this train at all.
Those were really expensive cards.
You hated them, and they were so good. Still, creatures are valuable.
Some of them were so good.
Most of them were still pretty good. Hoarding Ogre, guys. It's a 3/3 for 4. When it attacks, you roll a dice. I like things that are attacking, or I'm sorry, rolling dice multiple times. This is 1 through 9. Make a treasure, so multiple treasures. Create 2 treasures. Create 3 treasures. So this feels a little bit weird because that like it doesn't. The more treasures you get, that doesn't necessarily mean like diminishing returns, right? Like. You're already at 4 mana. You've made 2 or 3 treasures. You're probably in the, red's more aggressive. Mother flying fudgesicles. I quit. I quit streaming. I'm the worst. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm gonna go be a teacher like my degree tells me I should. So that way I can not change the slide for my small children and they can't do anything about it because they're tiny and their shin kicks don't hurt.
I did like Danger Shin Robinson.
Degrees are useless, I mean? I'm substantially smarter, I think, for having it, which is, sad because I'm not very smart. Yeah, what do you think of this card? I think it's like a little overpriced and diminishing returns. It seems counterintuitive, not what I want my red cards to be doing.
Yeah, I think the only reason you see this here is because red-black is kind of like a treasure token deck. So maybe if you have a lot of synergies there, you want this. But otherwise, yeah, this is not even really filler at 4 mana 3/3.
It also, you said red, blue is like the die rolling thing, and this is a multiple die roll trigger. So if you have other things that are like whenever you roll a die, draw a card if you get 10 or higher, then yeah, this is going to be, going up a little bit in value because it's going to be enabling your more powerful cards. But in general, I think the average deck is just going to be a 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Hobgoblin, 3 mana 2/3. Other goblin. Oh, there's a rare lord here. All other goblins get +1/+1. Pay 1 mana. It deals damage equal to the number of goblins that entered the battlefield under your control to any target. Ha cha cha. Seems good.
Yeah, I like this card.
It goes face if it's just 1. If it's a lot more, it shoots things.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if we have any cards coming that make multiple goblins. I think there is a die roll card that can make multiple goblins.
Yeah.
Later on, so. But even without that, just being a 2/3 for 3 lord that can ping fairly often is really good.
A bit of a split card, right? Like in the base deck, at its worst, it's a 2. Because it's a vanilla 2/3 for 3 with 1 or 2 stray synergies or triggers. But yeah. I mean, I think it goes up to like 3/5. Would you venture 4?
I think I would in the right deck. There's a lot of goblins here, and you've already got another sort of pseudo goblin lord, so it's definitely supported.
This could be a thing that like the more goblins we see, if there's any goblins in other colors, probably won't be, but it, and also multiple goblins like ETB effects. You know, create 2, roll a dice, create 4. That'd be kind of cool. This would go up in value a ton.
Yeah.
All right. Kaja! Your turn.
Hobgoblin Captain. 1 and a red for a 3/1 Goblin Barbarian. Whenever it attacks, the attacked creatures with total power 6 or greater in this combat, Hobgoblin Captain gets first strike until end of turn.
Okay, similar to what we saw with the other card with that 6 number, right?
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, but I'm wondering if that's like kind of the red-green deck in this format.
So is there all 10 color archetypes? Because you said there's die roll red, blue, and then you said, what was it, red, black?
Red, black is treasure tokens, and
then you
red,
said red, white is equipments. So it looks like, I think you are kind of pairing the colors when maybe the pairs are just not, like it's, you know, wider than that, maybe? Maybe there's just equipments in every color, because black, white, and red have them, so there's not like any 2 colors, right?
Yeah, only red and white so far, at least as far as we've seen, have cards that care about equipment, though.
That's probably true. But red can't be paired with every color.
Yeah, you can have all 10.
There's not that many mechanics.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's those. I mean, blue, they're not always mechanically, right? Sometimes it's just like blue, white is flyers. And possibly. I don't know. I'm just guessing from what I'm seeing. I haven't read that anyway, so.
Paired tactics. What are we thinking? So this is a 3/1 for 2, which is baseline of 2, but it does sometimes get first strike later in the game, so it has like a nice little bonus. I love this in an aggressive deck.
Yeah, agreed.
This is a lot stronger than you typically will see for a 3/1 with upside. 2/5?
Yep, and Goblin matters. So, you know, can matter, it seems like, so.
Yep. All right. Hulking Bug Bear. 3/3 for 3 with haste. This is a fine card. It's a curve filler with a nice little bonus text there. It is double red pips, but I think I'm fine with that. It's a goblin with goblin synergies, so pretty happy to play this.
Yeah, when we
2/5?
played 3-man. 2/5 sounds good. Yep.
Improvised Weaponry, guys. Deals 2 damage to any target. Create a treasure token for 3 mana. 2 damage for 3 mana. I'm not excited about without treasure synergies. I'm not super excited unless I have like a pretty strong splash option. The ramp is not usually very important in like an aggressive red deck. So I'm looking at this at like a 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we had a card, a 3 mana deal 2 a couple sets ago that barely ever even saw play.
Is it instant or it's sorcery speed too? Yeah, it's awful.
I think this is playable, but I think this is down at like maybe a 2/5.
I like that. I honestly didn't know it was sorcery speed. I'm on a roll with this clicking the next card button. Inferno, the star mounts. What the heck? 6 mana, 6/6. This is the biggest of the dragons, right? This spell can't be countered. Nice. Flying haste, first one with haste as well. So this is our big hitter. This so far seems like the most instantly impactful dragon of the lot. And it's got fire breathing. If its power becomes 20 this way, deal 20 damage to any target. Huh?
That feels like flavor text to me, basically.
So hypothetically, what if I gave this thing like +12/+12 and then finished it off with the pump?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, it's as long as power number 20 is this way.
A couple of sets ago, didn't we have a card that like doubled a creature's power and toughness for a turn or something?
Yeah, we just had it last set, the green one. Yeah, I mean, I think that is, you know, if you could make it that big, you probably just kill them with the flying haster anyway.
That's no fun, Yanks. You have to first kill their...
Wait. What happened?
They have a 1/1 blocker, obviously. You
what
have to
happened to
shoot
just
that.
hit him with the 6/6?
Because they don't have a 1/1 blocker that stops your combo. So you pew and ping that for 20 for flavor to show dominance, and then you hit them for 20.
That's right. Yeah, you killed their thing. That's right. You kill them. You don't kill them for 20.
No. Because you have to show dominance. 5?
Yeah, those cards just great.
Moving on. Jaded Sellsword. It is a 4-mana 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, if mana from a treasure was spent, it gains first strike and haste until end of turn. First strike's kind of cute.
Yeah. I don't know. Most of these mana from treasure spent to cast it cards seems pretty mediocre, other than the one that drew a card.
Yeah, this feels like it's in second place of all the ones we've seen.
Yeah,
the one that drew a card, and then this one. The other one was like Dirtlesville.
Yeah, I do applaud chat for making a good point that Sellsword should not be holding an axe.
God damn it, chat. That's true. 0 out of 10 flavor.
It all circles back to axe jokes for me today, apparently.
Stat-wise, it's fine. I'm not super excited about it. I'm not likely to have a ton of treasures, although we are seeing a lot of spells that just randomly have treasure abilities that we aren't valuing very highly, but with cards like this, they get a little bit nicer, so I think it's fine. I'm not excited. 2/5?
Yep. Sounds good to me.
It's probably closer to a 2, but I don't know. We'll see. Kick in the door. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains haste until end of turn, and it can't be blocked by walls this turn. Venture into a dungeon. So it does a fair amount of things. I mean, the middle bit there is just filler, very rarely relevant. But 1 mana, +1/+1, and haste, and a venture feels solid for 1 mana to me.
Yeah. We did not play much the 2 mana haste +1/+1 learn card much in the last set, right?
I didn't even know there was one. What the fuck?
So that would be a yes. We did not play.
Wait, what is that? That's a card?
It was for all your creatures that entered the battlefield that turn got a +1/+1 counter and haste.
Oh,
and you get to learn.
You're right, and it learns.
It's like first day of class, I think it was called.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I played that if I had really, really good lessons and was light on learns. But Red had some of my favorite learns in the set, so that happened rarely.
Yeah.
+3/+1 went around so late, and it was just way better.
Oh yeah. So I mean, this is cheaper, but worse.
Agreed, because learn is going to be better than a 1 dungeon level. Yeah, okay, you've convinced me. I'm off it. Like, I wasn't excited about it. I was like, maybe it's like a 2, 1.5. But yeah. I'm on that 1 to 1.5.
Yeah, again, you have a lot of dungeon synergies. There's a place for this card somewhere, but it's not going to be often.
And it won't be in any of your decks, because you hate fun.
Sure. That was not the way I would have gone with that, but okay.
Alright, I cast Magic Missile into the darkness. Anyone? Anything? Okay, moving on. 3 mana, can't be countered. Deals 3 damage divided as you choose among any 1, 2, or 3 targets. Pew 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 pew. It's fine. It's a insane steroided version of like a Chandra's Pyro Helix was definitely playable. It's sorcery speed, which is kind of poopy, but like You're gonna get a 2-for-1 with this kind of a fair amount of times, I think. There's a fair amount of X1s we've seen.
Yeah, no, I think this card's great. Yeah, it's pretty decent chance of getting 2 cards with it. And if you're trading for 1 card, you're getting something decent for your 3 mana trade. So
that, and it says you can do 1 creature. So this just 3 mana for 3 damage, which is playable.
Yeah.
It sucks that it's at sorcery speed at that point, but I mean, I'm still not in love with the card. But
yeah, no, I think it's good. It's like a 3/5.
Yeah, I'll take a 3/5. I've done well, guys. I've gotten like 3 in a row. Meteor Storm, red X, and it deals X 8 damage divided as you choose among X creatures and or planeswalkers. So for 4 mana, it can just do 8 damage to one thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that seems good. I was
had to double check that too.
I was like, where's the second X for damage? I don't understand. Okay, well, seems fine. Sorcery speed, but that's okay.
Yeah. 4 mana, kill pretty much anything. 5 mana, kill 2 good things.
Pretty much any 2 things, yeah, still. Because most of the things are 4/4 or smaller, with a very few exceptions.
And it's not equal, so yeah, you could pay 5 and kill a 6/6 and a 2/2.
Yeah.
So
great. I like it. I'm in.
Yeah.
This isn't reaching 4.5 though. It's close.
I think it would if the casting cost wasn't so awkward.
Triple red. I feel like there are times this is going to be a 5 and win you the game, and then there's times this is going to be a 4 mana removal spell. So I'm hesitant to go higher than premium removal because oftentimes that's literally all it will be is just 1 premium removal. More often than not.
I think that's fair.
Minion of the Mighty? Is that the next card? No! Fuck! Shins! It is a 0/1 for 1 with menace. When you attack with power 6 or greater, you may put a dragon creature from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Seems very constructed-y. But, like, is there a world where we have 5 dragons and we play this card? There's a lot of dragons.
There is. It's probably unlikely, but I'm sure this card will get played at some point.
We just go like this into a 3/1, into a 3/1, and then play our 8-drop dragon.
Yeah, and what's the... I forget the whole thing, but this is part of a turn 2 win in standard too.
Great, I'm in. It's a 1, but I will kill somebody with this card in this set at one point. This is an achievement card, and should be played as such. Aha. I'm gonna let you take this one. I'm gonna take a drink.
Orb of Dragonkind. 1 and a red for an artifact. You can pay 1 and tap it to add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast dragons or activate abilities of dragons. And then you can pay red, tap it, and sack it. Look at the top 7 cards of your library and find a dragon. If you find a dragon, you can reveal it and put it into your hand. This seems pretty terrible.
It seems very specific, like the last card, you need 5 dragons or whatever to be worth it, and way less fun. So, no.
Yeah.
1. Moving on. The Plundering Barbarian. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Smash the chest. Destroy target artifact. Rawr. Or, pry it open. Get a treasure.
Why, there's a chest in front of you. Why are you smashing it?
Because red player.
Red smash.
Red smash.
That's fair.
Don't you know anything? I'd rather smash it open than bounce it. Or counter it, you big baby.
Countering it makes them feel so much worse.
I'm going to kick you in the shins. If I ever see you. Get pleasure from other people's pain, you sadist. mean, it's a little expensive for a bear. It's not a goblin, so it doesn't have that synergy. This feels sideboardy to me. If you have a lot of like treasure synergies, then that's fine. But, you know, there are so many equipments that maybe this is a little bit better than it would be in the average set. So maybe we can give this, you know, a little bit of the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's still most likely to end up in your sideboard, but you can, you know, playing this as like your 23rd card is not as bad as it would feel like in some other sets.
It's probably a 2. Like, it's playable because I think it's going to hit a lot more things than it typically might in other sets, but cut it if you have literally anything else.
Yeah, agreed.
Price of Loyalty, 3 mana, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste. If treasure was spent, it gets +2/+0. So these are usually only good if there's sack outlets thereafter. There was one in black for sure. There's a couple in black, actually. There's creatures that sack, and there's like the sack spell for 2 mana that draws you 2 cards. So that's really cool. Kind of a fun achievement-y thing, but usually only the most aggressive decks want one of these on their top end to finish the job. But even then, I still would rather play like a body. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, these are not my favorite cards. At least this is back to 3 mana as opposed to some of the 4 mana ones we've seen.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm never a fan of this unless you have a very heavily supported sacrifice theme.
All right, moving on. Red Dragon, 6 mana, 4/4 with flying and fire breath. When it enters the battlefield, deal 4 damage to each opponent. I was really hoping that would say creature.
Yeah.
That's fine-ish. A 4/4 flyer with a built-in almost lava axe. I'm in.
Yeah, I think this is the worst of the 4 of this uncommon dragon cycle so far.
I will be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember them, so I'm going to agree with you and pretend like I know what you're talking about. I'm sleepy.
The black one is by far the best so far. The other ones are all kind of close, but
the black one was the one that cost like 7 though, as well, right?
Yeah, but it killed something most often enough when it came in. Yeah. But it's still, I mean, still a big flyer. Still will win games. So
yeah, I'm putting this at a 3. It's an okay top end. If you don't have anything else, I'm fine with 1 6-drop.
Yep.
And this one is fine. It will win some games. Yep, if left unanswered. Almost forgot. Rust Monster, first strike, 2/1 for 3. Sacrifice an artifact, it gets +2/+0. So this is really nice in the treasure theme. We're definitely running this. Honestly, a 2/1 first striker for 3 is not the world's worst rate. And then if you have like that treasure theme, I can see this actually being really good. So it's got a bit of a range. I feel like it's, you know, borderline playable on its own. Wish it was a goblin.
Yeah, disappointed it's not an ATOG because anything that eats artifact should be ATOGs.
Someone in chat said the same thing. Great minds.
But yeah, 3 mana 2/1, especially first strike plays really well with, you know, +X/+O effects.
You know, and it's no coincidence that it's the same viewer that was all over and agreeing with that damn draw 7 meme. The two of you guys are in on it together. You came together. This is like when 2 people pretend like they don't know each other at a poker table. I swear you guys are in cahoots with each other. It's bullshit. What are we thinking? 2-ish?
Yeah, it's around a 2. Heavy, like you said, the heavy treasure deck could bump this up a bit.
All right, Swarming Goblins. I mean, these guys are kind of cute, strangely enough. This is a 4/3 for 4, so 1 more mana than the other 4/3s. When it enters the battlefield, roll a dice, but you get to create another one. So this is one of those ones where, worst case scenario, yeah. So this is great with that uncommon that pings when goblins enter. So you're getting a minimum ping for 2, possibly ping for a lot more, right?
Yeah, this works really well with the Goblin Lord in multiple ways.
So there was kind of 2 lords, not the base lord, but the first one that we thought was the lord, right? I don't remember.
The base one, the rare lord is the one that has the pinging.
Yeah, that one then. And it's common, so if you get that one, it shouldn't be too hard to find. What are we thinking rating wise? It's 5 mana, 5/4 at its base, most likely to be a 6/5 at its base, power and toughness.
Yeah, your fine. Average is, like 1.5 tokens or something, a little more than 1.5 tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think this is especially for base common, this is probably a 3.
Yeah, I like it at a 3 as well. If you have any big payoffs like the pump goblin guy, I'm going to rate this much higher because that go wide effect is going to be really, really nice built in.
Absolutely.
All right, Tiger Tribe, go ahead.
3 red for a 4/4 trampler. Whenever it attacks, you attack creature's total power 6 or greater this combat. You may sacrifice another creature. When you do, this card deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to target creature. So you can basically throw if you attack with power 6 or more, you can throw another creature at something.
Yeah. So let's say you have this like wider board and they have, yeah, I don't really know. I was trying to think of a good situation where you kill the thing that's going to eat something and the rest of your like little guys kind of get in and aren't in fear of being eaten, but I'm sure it's fine. It's a 4/4 for 5 that does some stuff with trample, so fine.
Yeah, the one nice thing I think with it is you can attack with like this in a 2/2, right? And the 2/2 might normally get eaten, but instead you could throw it at like one of their X2s that's sitting that wouldn't block it, so now you can attack with your 4/4 and your 2/2 into like a
3/3 and a 2/2. Yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. So, there's some scenarios.
It will definitely make combat very difficult for your opponent, but also don't be too crazy sacrificing your shit all willy-nilly. I think it's fine. I think it's like a 3.
Yeah.
Payoffs for going wider, which is fine. Unexpected Windfall. 4 mana. As additional cost to cast this, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 treasure tokens. So it's a little bit more expensive than the typical discard draw 2, but you get 2 treasure tokens, and as we've seen with previous cards where if you're spending mana, you get a pretty big bonus. If you sack one, you get, +2/+0 on first strike, which is nice. So this is probably playable.
Yeah, this is one of those classic cards that is at the back end of the playability, and you'll cut it probably more often than not, but you don't feel bad playing it either.
This feels, with all the token synergy, it feels slightly more playable than like Thrill of Possibilities, which I still ran a fair amount of thrills, especially in more aggressive decks where I knew I wouldn't need land later. Pretty happy to run it, but again, it's not very exciting or fun, so I'm still giving it like a 2, but I think it'll see more play than Thrill.
Yeah, that may be.
Valorsinger. 2/3 for 3 base stats for filler, and it has combat inspiration at the beginning of your combat. On your turn, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's pretty minor buff, but it's a continuous buff, so a flyer or something could be pretty cool. It's like a way suckier combat professor.
Yeah, it like combat professor, it doesn't have to attack for this to happen. It just happens automatically. So, yeah, some sort of evasion threat or something is nice.
Certainly. Not exciting. It's not a goblin. I mean, on its own, I still think it's probably a 2. I don't think that its ability is good enough to pull it out of the like vanilla range.
Agreed. I think it's right there at that filler location in our rankings.
Wish, 3 mana. You may play a card you own from outside of the game this turn. I think it's important to note that you have to actually have drafted that card. You can't go get, your Time Walk or whatever.
Yeah, for limited purposes, this means your sideboard. Well, for all competitive purposes, this means your sideboard.
So these cards are always interesting. I think people think that this is good because it's like card advantage, but most of the good cards are in your deck. And if you're putting good cards not in your deck, then you're really not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what card do you have that you would be willing to pay 3 more and have it still be good?
And not just want it in your deck anyway.
Yeah. I mean, even tutors that get good cards from your deck that you're likely to put in generally don't see a ton of play unless they're super cheap. And this means you got to leave it outside your deck. Nah, I'll pass on that.
Rat says it doesn't say magic, so play a Charizard, but the rules say you do have to have drafted it. So if you find a Charizard in a magic pack, I will be very impressed.
I mean, they put energy cards in Magic with those Theros lands, so you never know.
That's true. They did look exactly like energy. So yeah, that's just a straight 1, guys. Yep. Zorn is a 3/2 for 3 elemental creature token. Base stats. If you would create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional treasure token. So that's a nice bonus, but not super impactful on its own for a rare. It will enable a lot of your synergies, especially like the little 2/1 first striker that wants to consume a lot of treasures multiple times. This is pretty sweet, but again, not super impactful on its own.
Yeah, this is mostly vanilla for me with an upside, maybe like a 2/5.
Yeah, I agree. So it's a 2 in most decks, and then it's going to get a nice little bonus in some, but not the average. Okay, we get to the flavor where you get to take an adventure with your DM. You come to a null camp. What do? Do you intimidate them? Up to 2 creatures can't block this turn because they are intimidated. Flavor wins. Or do you fend them off? Target creature gets a +3/+1 until end of turn.
I think I come to the null camp and get my shins kicked.
Fuck! I was doing so good. I will sleep tonight and I will feel better. Actually, I have to edit all of these videos and then I will sleep and then I will feel better. Actually, then I have to take my dog to the vet because he's getting his balls chopped off today. And then I will sleep and feel better. Okay. This card seems fine. It's got a decently low mana cost. Honestly, oftentimes 2 creatures not being able to block will win the game. Like, that is a surprising amount of times that will happen.
Yeah, I think this is my least favorite of these cards so far because I don't love either effect, but putting them together makes this card playable.
I think there was like a couple that were better, but I actually think there were like 1 or 2 for sure. One I can think of, the second white one was pretty bad. I think this is right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean I've got it like right around a 2.
In the aggressive deck, I think I'm gonna want this card. I will probably actively seek playing at least one of these. But I think you're right. In the average deck, it's probably still a 2. But
yeah, that's fair.
I'm pretty on the deck that wants it. It's kind of like Run Amok. The deck that wants it, I'm pretty high on it.
Those decks don't exist.
Eat a bag of dicks, Yanks. Okay. You anti-fun counter magic having poop face. Leave my Run Amoks alone. All right, you find some prisoners. What do, chat? Do you break their chains, destroy target artifact? That's flavorful. That's a great comparison there. No, you kick their shins.
You kick their shins.
Chat, why?
Oh, I know it's early in the morning, but please let Manatee still be up for this because we're gonna have some kicking shins memes.
You read the card.
You break their chains, destroy target artifact, or interrogate them, which is exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. Choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. So 2 mana, destroy an artifact, or replace the card with one of the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck till the end of turn.
I like this less than the other one. This feels sideboardy.
Yeah. A little bit better than in some other sets just because of the number of equipment like we've seen, but Yeah, not great.
1.5. Pick them up for the sideboard, guys, but probably not excited to put them in the main. Change the card. You see a pair of goblins. What do? Do you charge them? Creatures you control get trumpet blasted for +2/+0. Or do you befriend them and create 2 1/1 goblin tokens? That's actually pretty sweet. I like that one.
Yeah, this is a good card.
So these cards are so weird to me. Like, the ones that are good are very good. So usually you see these sort of like split cards, and each ability is fine, but the mana cost is overpowered for each one individually, but the flexibility kind of makes it worth it. These, honestly, each individual ability is worth the mana cost, and you don't really pay a tax on it. So I love the flexibility. They're just like a huge plus. Trumpet Blast was playable in the right deck, and it's literally this 3 mana.
Yeah, I think the only time I ever tried casting Trumpet Blast, I screwed it up because it had that attacking things restriction on it.
Oh.
But it was definitely playable in the right deck, and this doesn't even have that problem, and it has another option. Yeah, this card's very good.
Stupid blue mages can't even figure out how to Trumpet Blast.
Why would you attack? Just make them quit.
I pissed off an opponent at a PTQ by casting double Trumpet Blast to lethal them for Xaxes. I had to add 12 damage to the board that they weren't expecting or something.
Yeah.
So good. At a PTQ, nonetheless. It was great. Okay, yeah, I love this card. I'm in. Rating wise, I mean, that said, you still need to have a crap ton of bodies to make it worth it. But it also makes bodies, so it kind of compensates for that. And it also makes running them in multiples way less bad because you can make more bodies to benefit from the other. So I like this card well enough. I think it's like a 2/5.
Yeah, I have it at 2/5. Making
2 bodies is where I want to be in life. It also makes your Lord guy ping for 2. It benefits from Goblin Lord. It's great.
Yeah.
All right. Fire Giant Duke. It is a 7/3 for 5 with trample. Whenever the Duke is dealt damage, venture into a dungeon. Okay, so it's probably take 4, trade me, and venture is what this is. It seems like on average.
Yeah, card does a bunch, but it's all kind of medium.
So you're hitting them for 3 to 4. You're trading even or down and venturing. Seems like you're moderate best case scenario, other than just them not having any creatures and you doming them for 7 multiple times. But that's, let's not be greedy.
Yeah, I think the card is fine. I think it's a little underwhelming for a rare.
Agreed, but I'm probably still running it.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Red doesn't want to venture a ton. We're not seeing payoffs for it, so the venture is much lower value than it is in the other colors. 3 but is not great. But
yeah, and the fact that it's only 3 toughness makes me really wish that was just whenever it died instead of venture into the dungeon. Because it's probably going to die anyway to damage most of the time, and that way you'd still get the effect from black destroy spells or -X spells.
I feel like magic missiles should hit it 3 times because flavor. It's literally 3 separate pings. Fight me.
Yeah.
Judge. Yeah, I think it's a 3. I'm playing it, but if it trades with a 4-drop and hits them for 4 and ventures me, I think that is an outcome I am pleased with.
Agreed.
If it dies to a 2 mana deal 3 damage spell, I might cry myself to sleep, but I do that every night anyway, so it's fine. All right, we have a 4 mana planeswalker. +1, creatures you control get +1/+0 in haste. That's a fine ability for +1 for such a cheap creature. No! Fuck!
Almost to the very end.
I was doing well in the middle. All right, 0. Create a 1/1 devil creature token with when this creature dies, deal 1 damage. For 0, I like this. Bodies is good. -6, you get an emblem. The end of your first combat phase on your turn, untap creatures, and you get a second combat phase. Is this the best Planeswalker we've seen so far? Yes?
I think it is.
No, well, maybe the black one? This one seems more straightforward.
Yeah, it's definitely between those two. They're definitely better than the blue and white ones so far. It does only untap one creature, but anything with like vigilance can attack again still. So,
well, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Like, I read the first couple of words and then the last couple of words, and I filled in what I thought was gonna be there. It's a lot of text, guys. All right, I thought it was gonna be straightforward. That's usually how that works. Yeah, I think this is still one of the better of the Planeswalkers. Now, that said, it's not winning you the game instantly like some big Chandra or Liliana like we've seen in the past, but it is going to get a lot of good value. It comes down early, and, you know, it just doesn't suck. So, 4?
Yeah, I've got it at 4.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that is it, guys. We've been doing set reviews for over like 5 hours. I'm going to call it here. For those of you guys who are on YouTube, make sure you guys leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts, what you thought we were right on, what you thought we were wrong on. If you're watching this on YouTube, the rest of the set reviews should be out tomorrow. You know, unless you're watching this like a week later, because I don't know, YouTube's weird. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. I'd like to give a special thank you to those of you who have signed up for our Patreon. I couldn't make this content without you. Also to Cool Stuff Inc. and KMC Sleeves for supporting the channel as well. Definitely check them out and use our discount codes to support the channel.